I once had a campus romance with the heir of the Dawson family. He was proud, rebellious, and had a terrible temper, but he was soft only with me, always gentle, always obedient. Until I dumped him, took the money, and disappeared. He hated me so much he nearly lost his mind. 6 years later, we crossed paths again. He was now a famous race car driver. I was pulled in last minute to interview him. Awkwardly reading the script, I asked, "What was the reason you broke up with your first love?" His eyes turned red around the rims, coldly glancing down at me. No idea. I've been wondering that myself. Why didn't she want me anymore? Running into Luke again caught me off guard. The roar of engines cut through the silence of the night. The leading black sports car shot past us like an arrow, speeding around the mountain roads. Tony handed me a folder and warned, "These rich boys are doing a mountain run. The guy in the lead Ferrari is tonight's interviewee. You'll have 10 minutes. Just stick to the script." The original host got appendicitis, and I was called in to replace her. We had to wait in the mountain wind in the middle of the night. My curiosity about the man only grew. I opened the file, and the moment my eyes landed on the name, I froze Luke. Tony was still excitedly introducing him. "You just got back, so maybe you don't know Luke. He was the FIA G-Tone champion last season, founder of the SUI Supercar Club, and heir to the Dawson Group." I said nothing. Truth is, I knew him. 6 years ago, I dumped him. He hated me so much he almost lost his life. I wished I were the one with appendicitis tonight. I wanted to run, but it was too late. The black Ferrari sped across the finish line, then suddenly made a sharp, aggressive U-turn coming straight at me. The engine roared, the headlights blinding white. I froze in place, my brain stalled, my whole body went cold. Was he trying to kill me? The tires screeched violently as he slammed the brakes. The car stopped barely a meter away. Tony was terrified, running over to ask if I was okay. I shook my pale head. The other rich kids had all gotten out and were crowding around. "Luke, man, that was crazy. You scared the poor girl." The car door opened. The culprit stepped out in a black and red racing suit, helmet tucked under one arm, hair damp against his forehead. Luke looked at me, voice calm. "Sorry, didn't notice anyone there." He'd changed, his gaze was distant, cold, unapproachable. Since I couldn't avoid it, I decided to be direct. I smiled. "Mr. Luke, I'm your interviewer tonight, Jennifer." Luke let out a cold laugh. "Whose assistant messed up? What kind of trashy show is this?" Luke wasn't cooperative at all. What should have taken 10 minutes was now being dragged to his hotel. Probably afraid I'd quit in anger. Tony kept trying to soothe me on the way. Luke usually never agrees to interviews. We hit the jackpot. This episode's ratings are guaranteed. Just bear with it. Business is business. At the hotel, Tony set up the camera. After a while, Luke came out in fresh clothes and we started. The first few questions were about his career plans and the upcoming season. Luke sat on the couch, long legs crossed, answering smoothly and unhurried. Things were going okay, but soon the questions started veering off course. With his intense gaze fixed on me, I stiffly read from the script. "Online sources say you had a college romance, your first love. Can you share the reason for the breakup?" Luke didn't answer. He just stared into my eyes. Slowly, his eyes turned red. Coldly, he sneered, "No idea." I'd really like to ask her why didn't she want me anymore. The next questions were even more personal. I couldn't bring myself to ask. "Thank you for your time, Mr. Luke. That's all I have." I got up and left. Tony followed me to the parking lot, muttering with regret. He didn't say stop. Why didn't you keep going? I said, "Didn't dare." Guys like him usually have nasty tempers. Luke did have a bad temper. Back in school, he was proud, unruly, spoiled to the bone, but only with me. He'd act soft and clingy, completely at my mercy. Everyone said he was hopelessly in love. As soon as we got in the car, Tony got a call from the hotel. We'd left a recorder in the room. I didn't want to go back, felt like it was a setup. But Tony was exhausted from carrying equipment, so I had to go. The room was dark. Luke sat on the sofa, turning the recorder in his hand, face expressionless. "Not gonna catch up a bit? I'm in a rush, maybe next time." I reached for the recorder. eager to leave. But Luke suddenly stood and grabbed my wrist. "You've got some nerve coming back." His dark eyes flared with hatred. I wasn't surprised. He had every reason to hate me. Our ending was brutal. 6 years ago, I used dirt on Luke to blackmail the Dawsons for a huge sum. The night I planned to flee overseas, he was sick but somehow found out and ran out to stop me, only to be tackled by a dozen bodyguards. "Baby, what did I do wrong? Tell me, I'll change." "You idiot, don't you know how to think long term? Just 20 million, and you give me up? That's a bad deal." He begged me to stay, but I didn't look at him, not even once. I let him sob and plead, completely unmoved. As the car pulled away, Luke finally gave up. His eyes burned red, voice hoarse and savage. "You'd better never come back. Don't let me find you or I'll fucking kill you." The memories weighed heavy. I had nothing to say. His grip on my wrist tightened. Gritting his teeth, voice icy, Luke said, "You vanished for 6 years. I've been looking for you for 6 years. 6 years. Jennifer, how dare you come back?" "Why not?" "I came back with my boyfriend." I met his eyes, smiling casually. "You have a boyfriend?" he asked, voice suddenly quiet. "Yeah, met him abroad. Jason, the second son of the Smith family." I paused, then added, "He's very generous with me." Silence fell. Then Luke let go. He was furious, turned his back to me and spat out one word: "Leave." As if looking at me another second made him sick. The interview was a mess. We didn't get any juicy content. When Kristen got out of the hospital, she looked displeased. But since I'd just joined the company and she thought I was too timid to dig deep, she didn't blame me too harshly. That night, just off work, Jason came to pick me up. He'd just returned to the country and needed to make friends, build connections. Said there was a party he wanted me to go to. And no, it wasn't some lie, Jason, and I really were a couple. Just not in the usual sense. We were more like business partners. He wanted face, I wanted money. All name, no substance. We stayed out of each other's way. Everyone in the private room was part of the rich second-generation circle. The moment they saw me, they started calling me sis-in-law and little sister-in-law. Amid the chatter, someone asked, "Why isn't Luke here yet?" I had a bad feeling. Sure enough, a few moments later, Luke walked in slowly. His sharp gaze landed on Jason and me, paused for a few seconds, then shifted away. After he sat down, a bunch of people enthusiastically toasted him. Luke kept a calm face, surrounded by the crowd, a cigarette between his fingers, tossing back drinks one after another. He used to be clean, no smoking, no drinking. Now he looked so at ease with it, I watched silently. Luke didn't get that tattoo fully removed? Someone with sharp eyes noticed the faded butterfly on the inside of his right wrist. The red line's blurry now. The people nearby laughed suggestively, chiming in, "Looks like he got it for a girl. Probably still loves and hates her, couldn't bear to erase it." Who was it? We all met Luke later in life, never heard of her. Luke looked up lazily. "Can't remember anymore. Tried removing it twice. Too much trouble. So I left it for now." He glanced at me as I quietly ate fruit, his tone cold. "Maybe someday I'll tattoo a big turtle over it." I choked on a piece of watermelon and started coughing like crazy. Jason quickly patted my back. Luke, face blank, leaned over and handed me a bottle of water. "Drink up, Miss Jennifer. Don't choke to death. So venomous." Jason raised an eyebrow. "You two know each other?" I chugged half the bottle before catching my breath. I interviewed Mr. Luke a few days ago. A few guys who were at the mountain run that night were also there. Hearing this, they started making a fuss, claiming they didn't recognize me and should drink as punishment. Jason laughed. "What a coincidence. Young Master Luke, my Jennifer's quite good at her job, huh? We've met." She flagged me down for a random street interview, Luke said, gripping his glass tightly, smiling coldly without a word. After a few rounds of drinks, things got down to business. Jason began tentatively discussing potential collaborations with Luke. His family's operations were mostly overseas, and now that they were back, they needed to work with the Dawson Group. Others joined in, teasing Jason about how much he must be paying this time. Jason smiled and said, "It's nothing. If it means closing a deal with the Dawsons, I'll do whatever it takes." Luke also smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes cold and emotionless. He stubbed out his cigarette, blew smoke, then turned his face to me, staring intently. "Your girlfriend's pretty. What if I asked you to break up with her?" "You're drunk, Luke." Jason laughed it off, thinking Luke was just messing around. Luke squinted, leaned back on the couch, lit another cigarette. "I'm very sober." Jason froze, his smile fading fast, his face darkening, the atmosphere tense. The once lively room fell silent. "Mr. Luke, don't joke. My boyfriend and I are doing great. I've got something to take care of. I'll head out now." "You all enjoy your business talk." The tension was thick. I couldn't sit still. I stood up to leave. Jason sensed something off between us and wrapped an arm around my waist like a show of possession, saying he'd walk me out. Seeing us like that, Luke suddenly snapped. He threw away his cigarette, his brows sharp and furious. His anger had clearly reached a breaking point. Before anyone could react, he punched Jason square in the face. "Let go. Don't touch her." Jason stumbled back, lip instantly splitting open. Luke's face was dark, fist clenched for another blow. Chaos erupted as everyone rushed to stop him. I stepped between them, frowning, voice icy. "Are you insane? Who gave you the right to hit him?" Luke cooled off a bit, then shouted at everyone to get out. He pointed at Jason, panting, chest heaving violently. "You're protecting him now? What lies has he been feeding you? Do you even know he's just using you as a stand-in?" "You idiot. Jason's a womanizer with a trail of scandals. He's only with you because you look like his ex. You're a substitute, a tool to get her back." Jason wiped the blood from his lip and scoffed. "Whatever's going on between us is none of your business. Who even are you to her?" That last bit shattered what little restraint Luke had. His eyes turned bloodshot, rage bubbling up. "None of my business? I searched for her for 6 goddamn years. You tell me what I am to her." He grabbed Jason by the collar, veins bulging in his hand, and punched him again. "She's my girlfriend now." Jason finally lost it and started fighting back. The two of them got into a full-on brawl. I just wanted it all to stop. "That's enough, Luke. I don't need you fighting my battles. I want to. Let me, okay?" In that moment, all of Luke's fury drained from his face. He stiffly turned his head, stunned, and looked at me. Jason took the opportunity to land a punch, sneering, "Mind your own business." He wore a ring on his right hand. The hit split Luke's brow, blood trickling down his eyelid in a vivid red blur. Luke seemed numb to the pain. Pale-faced, he blinked slowly, then asked me, "You really like him that much?" I didn't answer. I grabbed Jason and left. The door shut behind us. Pain and tears blurred my vision. Luke almost laughed at himself for being so stupid. Blood still streamed down his brow, but he didn't care. He touched the butterfly tattoo on his wrist, muttering to himself, "Serves you right, Luke. You really are the idiot." As he spoke, his eyes grew hot, his voice choked with tears. When I came back in with a bag, Luke was slumped on the couch, palm covering his eyes, tears seeping through his fingers. I quietly walked over and treated his wound. 2 minutes later, the bleeding had stopped, but the tears wouldn't. They fell, heavy and relentless, hitting me right in the heart. "You said you'd never leave me. You liar." Something inside me cracked. I bit down on my pale lips and said softly, "Yeah, I lied. I treated you terribly. Don't think about me anymore." Back when we were dating, once Luke stood in line to buy milk tea for me. I was waiting on the roadside and saw an old man selling jasmine flowers. Jasmine bracelets were trendy online then, and I wanted to wear matching ones with Luke. I didn't even get the chance to tell him. I ran off chasing the old man who was already far away. When I came back, I saw him in the crowd, searching desperately, looking frantic and lost. I ran up to him. Luke pulled me into his arms, devastated. "Baby, where did you go? I couldn't find you. You didn't answer your phone. I thought you left me." He was clingy and insecure, constantly overthinking, always afraid I'd get tired of him one day and leave. Our friends used to joke he was a hopeless romantic with a major obsession. I stood on tiptoe and kissed his lips to calm him. "Sorry, my phone was on silent, like always. I didn't leave you." Luke bent down, his dark eyes full of love. He pressed his forehead to mine, his breath hot, and asked me to promise. I smiled helplessly, hooked his pinky with mine, and said earnestly, "I promise I'll never leave you, Luke." At last, he was satisfied, burying his face in the crook of my neck, his arms tightening around me. The wind blew, carrying the scent of him to my nose. Our racing heartbeats fell into sync. Back then, it was me who made that solemn promise. And later, it was also me who broke it. Jason was still waiting for me. I walked out of the club and got into the car. The city was wrapped in rain and mist, the car weaving through blurry neon. We said nothing the entire way. Near my place, he finally couldn't hold it in. "You and Luke, you're not just old friends, are you? It's none of your business. Don't forget we don't interfere with each other." He pressed on, probing, "You still care about him, otherwise, why go buy medicine and patch him up?" Jason touched the swollen side of his face and clicked his tongue. He really didn't hold back. "This deal's probably dead now, and I got beat up too. Don't I deserve a little concern? You're just gonna ignore me? I don't have to care, and I don't owe you anything." I'd always been cold to him. Right after I said that, Jason turned a corner, stopped the car, stared at me, and said, "Is it that you can't, or just don't want to? What difference does it make?" "It makes a huge difference." He looked oddly stubborn. I curled my lips into a mocking smile. "You're not catching real feelings, are you? If your ex finds out, she'll be heartbroken." He was quiet for a moment, then restarted the engine. "You're overthinking it. You treat me like ice, and I'm no simp. No way I'd be into you. Jennifer, you didn't make a deal with me for the money. You care about Luke, but you're determined to make him give up. I don't get you. I can't figure out what you really want." I didn't answer. I turned to look out the window. The broken streetlights outside flickered faintly. It didn't matter. The pain would pass because I was destined to die. And once I was gone, all of Luke's memories of me would be erased. In our third year together, as graduation loomed, my roommates were busy with theses and job applications. But I had no time to worry about any of that. A mechanical voice suddenly appeared in my head, saying I was a supporting character in a book. According to the plot, in a few years, I'd become the male lead Jason's stand-in lover. Jason would marry me to provoke his beloved ex into coming back. Just as planned, the day came. The female lead returned. Jason dropped me and went chasing after her. I ran after him and got into a car accident. I died becoming a thorn between them. What a joke. My only purpose was to be a disposable tool. I didn't believe it, so the system tried everything to convince me. Its cold, confused voice said, "Luke is the male lead of a different book. You two were never supposed to cross paths. I don't know where the glitch happened. But as punishment, Luke, who doesn't belong in this book, will die, and it will get worse each time. Even if he's a main character elsewhere, he's not exempt. After he dies, everything resets. This is the 11th cycle." Then, a flood of memories overwhelmed me. I saw the previous 10 times. The first time, Luke was smiling, saying the new dessert shop across the street had great mousse. He crossed the road and got crushed under an out-of-control truck, died instantly. The second time, a deranged man with a knife came at us. Luke shielded me and was stabbed over 10 times. Bled out on the way to the hospital. The third, the fourth, each death worse than the last. By the 10th time, we'd been together for 6 years. Our families had met. Everyone approved. Luke was 25, at his prime. He won a race overseas with ease, then suddenly pulled out a ring and proposed on live global broadcast. "Jennifer, when I get back, marry me." He smiled freely, lips curled. Watching from my phone, I was wrapped in bliss, crying as I nodded. I was ready to be his bride. But Luke didn't keep his promise. He got sick, wasting away rapidly. His organs started failing. No diagnosis ever came. He couldn't eat, survived on IVs. His body withered. No color left in his face. At his worst, he vomited blood by the mouthful, tubes sticking out everywhere, barely able to blink. Yet he still gave me a weak smile. The day he died, it was snowing. After being unconscious for ages, He suddenly woke up and whispered so faintly I barely heard him asking if he looked terrible now. I cried so hard I couldn't speak, shaking my head violently. "No crying," Luke said, tickling my palm with his fingers soft as a kitten. We met on a snowy day. He'd wanted to touch the snow. I'd run outside and made him a snowball. When I opened the door again, it slipped from my hands and shattered on the floor. Luke lay there, eyes shut. He was gone. The system's voice kept going. It said it had infinite power to keep doing this. Warned me I had to return to the main plot now. If I insisted on staying with Luke, the cycle would repeat, but this time, it'd be different. Luke's soul would be completely erased. Even if the timeline reset 1,000,000 times, he'd never exist again. Fate was cruel beyond reason. No matter how hard I fought, I couldn't escape the ending already written for me. My mind spiraled into chaos, filled with images of Luke dying in front of me again and again. It nearly drove me insane. Just imagining a world without Luke, my heart felt like it had been slashed to ribbons. The pain was unbearable. I hid and cried until I shook. When morning came, I wiped away my tears and asked the system one question. Was Luke's female lead good to him? The system said yes. Not long after my death, Luke would meet her. She was cheerful and sunny, like a little sunbeam. They had a wonderful relationship. By the end of the story, they had 2 adorable kids. I listened in silence as tears rolled down. That's good. So good. A perfect ending. I could rest easy. This time, I gave in. I wanted Luke to live well, and I would follow the script to die as planned, so I used the excuse of having dirt on him to extort money from the Dawson family. I severed everything with Luke in the most ruthless way. Jason called and asked to marry. To bait his beloved back, there'd be a wedding, no registration. He told me to think it over. I didn't. I just said yes. When life entered its final countdown, I thought I'd be scared or sad. But strangely, I felt nothing. I just wanted to finish my tasks, get my work done. Until one day, I returned to my alma mater for an interview. Walking alone on that familiar campus, a suffocating sense of drowning hit me. This place held too many beautiful memories. Luke came from a prominent family, proud and arrogant and a total heartthrob. Back in college, everyone had a crush on him. He was hot-tempered and impatient, always wearing a scowl. Rarely nice to anyone except me. He was a total puppy around me. In his eyes, I could do no wrong. Our first meeting was on a snowy winter night, the first snow of that year, and it came down heavy. My roommate and I were overjoyed, running around the playground in the cold, throwing snowballs. One of mine accidentally hit someone in the head. Luke turned around, face dark with anger. But when he saw me coming over to apologize, he stopped short. From that moment on, he began chasing after me. He had the kind of face that attracted trouble, but he was hopelessly pure-hearted and even secretly got a butterfly tattoo. After we started dating, I asked him why he liked me. Luke had his hands in his pockets, lips curled into a smirk. He thought for a moment but didn't answer directly. That day, I turned around and saw you wrapped in a scarf, your nose bright red from the cold. I just couldn't bring myself to be mad at you. I accused him of being shallow, falling for looks. Luke chuckled, leaned in, and kissed me. Then I guess I'm shallow, but only for you. The memories hit like a flood. My chest ached so badly I couldn't breathe. Maybe I should go crazy just once. So I did. It was pitch black and raining again. I sat on the steps of a convenience store near the campus gate, hugging a bottle, drunk out of my mind. I don't know how long passed before a car stopped by the curb. The door opened. A man holding a black umbrella walked through the shallow puddles and came straight toward me. He squatted down, holding the umbrella over my head. I tilted my face up and saw him clearly sharp brows, high nose bridge. It was Luke. He stared at me for a moment, then scooped me into his arms and stuffed me into the car. At his place, he gently fed me hangover medicine. Jason's a sleaze, using you as a stand-in. I'm more loyal, richer too. If you don't choose me, you're really losing out. He sat on the edge of the bed, pinching my flushed cheeks like a punishment, talking nonstop, his eyes laced with vulnerability and sadness. What dirt do you have on me? That I'm scared of horror movies? That I hate vegetables? You little liar. Why don't you want me anymore? I was completely wasted. Logic wiped clean by alcohol. I thought I was back in the past, dating him. I opened my eyes and insisted on touching his abs. Luke obediently lifted his shirt, letting me grope and poke. His voice was ridiculously soft. Baby, you have no idea how much I missed you. After 6 years, hearing that nickname again shattered my fog. My hand froze. Rationality snapped back into place. I could have taken this chance to let go, to hug and kiss him with no regrets, but I didn't dare. I couldn't give Luke even a glimmer of false hope. If I wanted him to give up, I had to go all the way. No mercy. So I reached up, hooked my arm around his neck like I was about to kiss him, and whispered another man's name. The air froze. Luke gripped my shoulders, holding me back. His lashes trembled. He struggled to ask, "Who am I?" "Jason." "And Luke?" he asked again. "I don't care about him." After a long silence, Luke slowly stood up. The light in his sharp black eyes dimmed until only dead embers remained. His eyes were frighteningly red. He said each word like a curse. "I hate you so much." Then he slammed the door and left. I pretended to be sober and got up to go. The night was still. Neon lights from nearby buildings spilled across the wide balcony. Luke leaned on the railing, and a butterfly tattoo was exposed on his wrist. Light and shadow twisted as a moth flitted through the air. The cold wind mixed with gray smoke, rising slowly. That proud man tilted his face upward, biting his cigarette, like a melancholic frame from an art house film. His brows sagged with exhaustion. "Jennifer, I have pride too. I have dignity. I'm tired. I don't think I can hold on much longer." 6 years of hatred had built up, but so had his love. Luke's breathing turned heavy. He clenched his jaw and played his final card. "If you walk out that door today, I won't love you anymore." My vision blurred. That was what I wanted to hear, yet my eyes betrayed me, going red with tears. I bit my lip, nails digging into my palms, despair swallowing me whole. After a few seconds, I crushed him with one final sentence. "Good." As I stepped through the door, I heard Luke's hoarse, furious scream behind me. "Remember this, I really don't want you anymore." I didn't look back. At the charity gala, the room was full of glamorous guests, celebrities, and industry giants. Jason announced our upcoming wedding. Everyone smiled and offered congratulations except for Luke, standing in the corner, eyes sharp and cold, face expressionless. I kept my polite smile. Jason held me close as we toasted the crowd. A professional team was handling the wedding from the venue to the guest list to the kind of flowers on each table. Once my work was wrapped up, I resigned. I was ready to be a bride again. Everything was proceeding in perfect order. "If she doesn't show up, marrying you wouldn't be so bad," Jason joked while visiting me during a dress fitting. I snorted. "If you live long enough to marry, I might not live long enough to wed." As the wedding neared, a sudden crisis struck Smith's domestic company. Several competitors teamed up to crush them. Jason was overwhelmed. The wedding had to be postponed. Outsiders thought the Smiths were falling apart and the wedding probably wouldn't happen. I still occasionally tried on dresses. One day, at a boutique, I ran into Luke having a suit tailored. He walked over, glanced at the 2 attendants holding my custom gown, his gaze like a knife slicing into me. "Still dreaming of marrying Jason? A heartless woman like you, if you toy with me, I'll make you pay." He didn't hide that the attack on Smith was his doing. "You want to marry him? I won't let you." Luke emphasized he could take it or leave it. He didn't love me anymore, he just didn't want me to be happy. I played along, begging him. "Please, let me go." He sneered. "Can't do that." That fool didn't understand the characters in the book were bound to the plot. Even when accidents occurred, the story would forcibly correct itself. Sure enough, Smith's crisis resolved quickly. Everything snapped back into place. The timeline marched on to the wedding day. The gown was stunning, pure white, trailing in elegant arcs as I moved. 3 makeup artists circled me with care. Just as they finished, a call came from an unfamiliar number. I picked up. Luke's cold voice came through. "Don't think today's going to go your way. Hate to disappoint you, but the leading lady is on her way to crash the wedding." He even mocked me, asking who Jason would choose. I didn't respond. My mind was somewhere else. After a brief hesitation, I couldn't help myself. Luke, can you come hold me? Just once, before the ceremony starts? One last hug. That wasn't too much to ask. On the other end, his breathing stopped completely thrown off rhythm. Then, enraged, he snapped. What do you take me for? Think I won't hit you? Hugging your ex on your wedding day, you really think you're clever? He thought I was playing games. Furious, he hung up. I sniffled, a little hurt. I wasn't playing. I just missed the warmth of his arms. The ceremony began. Maybe Luke stirred things up because the female lead arrived shockingly fast. The doors hadn't even opened when the soft piano music was abruptly cut off. A bratty voice rang through the hall, audible even through the doors. Jason, if you dare marry her, I'll make sure you never find peace again. The stylist and staff around me were fighting hard not to react. Their faces twitched from holding back. I was surprised too. I thought the dramatic part wouldn't hit until the ring exchange. Ignoring the whispers behind me, I waited patiently. After a moment, the doors burst open. The female lead appeared. Let Jason choose, she said, then shot me a deadly glare and ran off. Jason chased after her. The guests erupted. Chaos filled the room. I turned around and caught the bitter scent of tobacco. Luke reached out a hand. Guess you're not becoming Mrs. Smith after all. Time to let it go. If you don't want to be a laughingstock, come with me. His tone wasn't kind. His face was stone. He was trying so hard to act indifferent, but his tightly pressed lips betrayed his nerves. I looked at him carefully, memorizing every inch of his face. Luke, I want to go with you so badly, but I can't. After I die, the system will erase all memories of me. No one will remember we ever loved, not even Luke. To him, I'll be just a stranger he never met. Sorry, I need to find Jason. My hand slowly clenched the fabric of my gown. I took a deep breath. Under Luke's hollow gaze, I kicked off my heels, tore off the long veil, and walked calmly, peacefully toward the ending fate had already written for me.